Black taxi, a creepy ride through the unknown. The driver kept glancing at me in the rearview mirror, and his smile never changed. I noticed it 3 blocks after he picked me up, and by then, I knew something was wrong. My name is Rachel Morrison, and I'm a data analyst who works late shifts in downtown Chicago. I've taken hundreds of cab rides home, maybe thousands. I thought I knew every trick, every red flag, every warning sign. But nothing prepared me for what happened on October 17th, 2023. I'd missed the last train after a system crash kept me at the office until 2 a.m. The streets were empty in that unsettling way that only happens in big cities after midnight. I pulled up my phone to order a ride, but my usual app wasn't loading. Frustrated and exhausted, I decided to hail a traditional cab. A black sedan pulled up within seconds, almost too quickly, as if it had been waiting. "Need a ride?" the driver asked through the window. He was middle-aged, clean-cut, wearing a button-down shirt. Normal. Professional. 426 North Parkway, I said, climbing into the back seat. The interior was immaculate. Too immaculate. No coffee stains, no worn seats, no air freshener dangling from the mirror. It smelled sterile, like a hospital. I buckled my seatbelt, and he pulled away from the curb without acknowledging my destination. "Did you hear me? 426 North Parkway?" "I heard you," he said, his eyes finding mine in the mirror. That smile. Fixed. Unwavering. The first few minutes seemed routine. We drove through empty streets, past darkened buildings. I checked my phone and noticed I had no signal. Not unusual in certain parts of the city, I told myself. I'd get it back soon. But then he missed the turn. "Excuse me, Parkway was back there." "Taking a shortcut," he said. "Faster this way." It wasn't faster. We were heading away from my neighborhood, toward the industrial district where the old warehouses stood abandoned. My pulse quickened. "I'd prefer you take the main route." He didn't respond. I tried the door handle. Locked. My stomach dropped. "Unlock this door right now," I said, trying to sound authoritative despite the fear creeping into my voice. "Child safety locks," he said calmly. "For your protection." "I'm not a child. Unlock the door or I'm calling the police." I pressed 911 on my phone. No signal. I tried again. Nothing. The screen showed full bars, but the call wouldn't connect. "Cell towers are spotty out here," he said, watching me in the mirror. "Where are you taking me?" "Where you need to go." He turned down a side street I didn't recognize. The street lights here were broken or missing entirely. Abandoned buildings loomed on either side like tombstones. I could see a bridge ahead, old and rusted, crossing over the Chicago River. "Let me out of this car now." "Can't do that, Rachel. Not yet." My blood ran cold. I'd never told him my name. "How do you know my name?" His smile widened. "I know lots of things about you. I know you work at Meridian Analytics. I know you live alone. I know you take this route home every Tuesday and Thursday. I know nobody's expecting you." Terror shot through me. He'd been watching me, studying me, planning this. "What do you want?" "I want you to understand something," he said, slowing the car as we approached the bridge. "I want you to know that I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm very, very good at it." He pulled onto the bridge and stopped the car in the middle. The dark water churned below us, reflecting nothing. "There are women in that river," he said conversationally. 3 of them. All data analysts, all worked late. All took a black cab home on a Tuesday night. The police never found them. Do you know why? I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. Because nobody looks in the river. They search the parks, the alleys, the dumpsters. But the river keeps secrets. He turned around in his seat to face me. In the dim light, I could see his eyes were flat, emotionless, like a shark's. "You're going to be number 4. Something in me snapped. Survival instinct overrode fear. I threw myself at the partition between us, screaming, clawing, kicking at the windows. The glass didn't break. He just watched me, amused. "That's laminated glass. You can't break it. I've tried this with others. They all try the same things." I grabbed my phone and hurled it at the window. It bounced off harmlessly. I looked around desperately for anything I could use as a weapon. Nothing. The car was completely empty except for me. "Please," I whispered. "Please don't do this." "They all beg," he said. "It doesn't change anything." He turned back around and opened his door. The sound of the river grew louder, rushing and gurgling beneath us. He walked around to my door, and I heard the locks click open. This was my chance. My only chance. When he opened the door, I exploded out of the car, shoving past him with every ounce of strength I had. He grabbed my jacket, but I twisted out of it and ran. My heels clattered on the bridge deck. Behind me, I heard his footsteps, calm and measured. He wasn't running. He knew I had nowhere to go. The bridge stretched endlessly ahead. No other cars, no witnesses, just darkness and the sound of water. I ran anyway. His hand caught my hair and yanked me backwards. I hit the ground hard, the air knocked from my lungs. He dragged me toward the railing. "This is where it ends for all of you," he said. "In the water, in the dark, forgotten." I kicked at his knees, bit his hand when it covered my mouth, fought with everything I had. But he was stronger, and he'd done this before. He lifted me toward the railing, and I saw the black water below, waiting. Then, light. Headlights swept across the bridge. A car was coming. He hesitated for just a second, and I screamed with everything in me. The car screeched to a stop. A man jumped out. "Hey, what's going on?" My attacker looked at me, looked at the witness, and made a calculation. He shoved me hard against the railing and ran back to his car. The engine roared to life, and he sped off into the darkness, leaving me collapsed on the cold pavement. The man who saved me called 911. Police came, ambulances, questions, so many questions. But here's what haunts me. They never found him. The cab had no plates, despite what I remembered seeing. No cab company in Chicago had any record of a driver matching his description. The security cameras on that bridge had mysteriously malfunctioned that night, showing nothing but static. 3 bodies were eventually recovered from the river over the following weeks. 3 women, all data analysts, all found with ligature marks suggesting they'd been bound before drowning. Sarah Chen, Jennifer Wu, Michelle Brooks. All had worked late on Tuesday nights. All had last been seen getting into a black sedan. The police called him the Tuesday night killer. They said I was lucky. They said I was the one who got away. But I didn't get away. Not really, because every Tuesday night at 2 a.m., I still get a notification on my phone. Despite deleting the app, despite changing my number, despite moving to a different city. Black sedan, license plate 7FH999. Driver, M. Crow, arrives in 0 minutes. And every Tuesday night at 2 a.m., if I look out my window, there's a black sedan parked across the street, waiting. The driver's always there behind the wheel, looking up at my window, smiling. The police say it's PTSD. They say I'm imagining things. They say the trauma is making me see patterns that aren't there. But last Tuesday, I found something on my doorstep. My jacket, the one I left behind on the bridge. Cleaned and pressed, folded neatly, with a note pinned to it. See you soon, Rachel. I always finish what I start. I've reported it to the police. They're investigating. They've increased patrols in my neighborhood. They've told me I'm safe. But they don't see what I see every Tuesday at 2 a.m. They don't see him waiting. They don't know that he's patient. And they don't understand that some rides never really end. Last night, my new roommate told me she's starting a late shift next week. Data analysis work. She'll be getting home around 2 a.m. on Tuesdays. I warned her about taking cabs alone. I told her to always use the apps, always share her location, always check the license plates. She laughed and said, I worry too much. This morning she showed me a notification on her phone. A glitch in her ride app, she said. Showed a car that was already waiting outside our building, even though she hadn't ordered one. Black sedan. License plate 7FH99999. Driver, M. Crow. I looked out the window. He was there. And this time, he wasn't looking at my window. He was looking at hers.